Capgras syndrome. Capgras is a delusional misidentification syndrome. It's mainly characterized by its only symptom of a false belief that an imposter has replaced someone significant to the patient. This imposter can be anything. It can be an item, a person, even an animal. Capgras is a rare delusion. It's estimated to only be in the 0.12% of the general population. PubMed claims that it is more prevalent in African Americans, schizophrenics, and women. Contrary to PubMed's claim, this condition exists in both genders. The cause of CS isn't entirely known. It's only known that it has something to do with brain damage to the bifrontal and temporal areas. Brain damage to these areas are linked to problems with perception of reality and memory function. CS can also be a result of prosopagnosia, which is a condition that deals with facial recognition. CS is also an acquaintance with other disorders, such as these. CS dates way back to the 1920s, when a French psychiatrist named Joseph Capgras discovered the disorder while investigating a woman who claimed that an imposter had replaced her husband and other people in her life. This woman also believed that there was an imposter of herself. The authors of the paper that Joseph Capgras had published referred to this syndrome as illusions dissociées, which translates to the illusion of lookalikes. CS was thought to be a psychiatric disorder, with similarities and delusions to schizophrenia. Man, where is it? In the 1980s, there was a discovery found that CS was connected with brain lesions. Today, CS is understood to be both psychiatric and neurological, and is known to emanate from brain degeneration. Capgras syndrome, because of its rare prevalence, cannot be assessed under the DSM classification. The syndrome is not fully understood in this aspect, just as it's not understood why I own a live hand grenade. At least I think it is. The only definitive way of diagnosing this syndrome is through its only symptom. Capgras itself is a symptom of dementia, a delusion that cannot be argued or reasoned with. Behavioral and environmental interventions are used before any type of medication. Let me run you through a few scenarios to demonstrate these interventions. Don't argue with the belief. That just makes the person angrier and more convinced you are an imposter. Go with it. Acknowledge their emotions, fear, frustration, and anger. Change the focus or redirect your loved one. Try to distract them with an activity, music, or even a car ride. Agree to disagree about this belief. Remind them that no matter who they are, you love and care for them, and are there for them. Get creative. All right, Gramps, you got me. I'll go get the real me. If the patient becomes a danger to themselves or others, they will receive medical evaluation. These memory medications can be prescribed, as these. These can reduce psychotic symptoms. Capgras syndrome is both a painful experience for the patient and the family. It comes down to an understanding that this delusion is not what the patient truly feels. It's a fixed false belief that cannot be reasoned with. No amount of proof or reasoning will change their mind. In cases where the patient becomes a risk to themselves or others, they can be institutionalized in a care facility. Cases of CS can be acute, transient, or chronic. Most patients live their lives with little medical problems connected to CS.
And now, with a public service message, here is SNL Newsbreak correspondent Tony Rosado.
Tony Rosado was an actor, beloved husband and father. He would voice an outstanding character.
Hey, Mario, look what I made!
It's a stone, Luigi. You didn't make it.
It's a football! I chiseled it!
Would become a part of the cast of Saturday Night Live. However, at one point in Tony's life, he would start to unravel. In 2005, Tony's wife would leave him, taking his daughters with her, of his erratic behavior. Tony would call the police, citing that his daughter had been abused and that his family was replaced by imposters. He would call the cops so many times on his imposter wife, he would be charged with criminal harassment. Tony would not acknowledge his mental illness and would spend the next 2 years in a maximum security facility. He would be diagnosed with CS and later recover while taking antipsychotic medications.